What is up, guys? It's Flash back with some more charts, another video. It's Thursday, February 13th, about 2:35 p.m. Eastern, day before Valentine's Day. What do you got? But just right now, we're looking at Bitcoin. We're going to look at gold. We're going to look at Bitcoin measured in gold, and then we might take a look at MicroStrategy and MicroStrategy, or strategy rather, denominated in Bitcoin. But so far, just kind of showing you guys charts as I see them, just some things I'm pointing out to you, may be helpful, maybe not. If you find value in this, please feel free to give me a like. That helps, get the video out to more people that, could maybe use the information. So we're looking at Bitcoin. We're on the 2-day time frame, and I just have some, obviously the rainbow wave, which is kind of the reference to the power law in play. If we edit the rainbow wave and we show fair value zone, this kind of shows like the power law, like the core part of the power law, where price really, really likes to kind of, what's that word I'm looking for? It's like a magnet almost. So price wants to be around this center green line. That's the power law, but it does have these bubble formations as we've seen previously. So if we zoom in, we're kind of just exiting that fair value zone, as it's called in the indicator. So we're a little bit above where Bitcoin might be fairly valued, for example, and that's okay. But I think it's just doing Bitcoin things. And so again, you kind of see these green little humps or consolidations or inverted arcs or domes, whatever you want to call it. It kind of likes to do, recently it likes to consolidate this way, and it's kind of evident in these charts, right? So we're kind of in this other hump. This could continue to extend, we're not really sure, but we're just kind of following along here. So again, this is on the 2-day time frame. We'll go into the daily. And so that's just a quick high-level overview of Bitcoin. Now what I want to do is go into gold. And so gold, I think, is very interesting, right? It seems to be more or less kind of leading the way in terms of sniffing out inflation, leading the way for maybe Bitcoin, maybe the S&P and NASDAQ. But what I wanted to kind of point out was, recently in the last year or two, we have these kind of upward sloping trend lines in gold. Like gold is appreciating in price. It's sniffing out the loss of the purchasing power of the US dollar, right? Because gold's being measured in the US dollar right here. And so if what I wanted to do is kind of this exercise. Number one is, let's zoom out to the 3-day. Let's get a bigger picture. Let's turn off this indicator. But big picture perspective, gold is in this massive, what looks to be massive uptrend, right? Ever since we came off the gold standard in 1971, there's a channel here of some sort, right? You could look at it this way, or you could look at it a different way. This is just one perspective, right? So gold looks like it's appreciating to the upside. It's, again, sniffing out the US dollar being debased. Now, what I'm going to do is add Bitcoin to this chart in a new price scale, and we're going to put Bitcoin on the log. So now we kind of have a look of both Bitcoin and gold kind of in the same pane, right? And so they look pretty similar. But what I really wanted to point out was recently, it looks like gold might be moving before Bitcoin does, right? So for example, right here, yes, they kind of went hand in hand. Bitcoin kind of outperformed, it looks like, back here. And then here, Bitcoin kind of led gold before its breakout, right? And then Bitcoin started consolidating right here. And gold continued to move up, a little bit of a consolidation here. And then gold continued to move up, right? It's leading the way almost. And then right here on Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, you saw gold put in kind of a local top, right? I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can see this. So gold tops, and then Bitcoin really, you could kind of tell Bitcoin was starting to curl up here. But once gold put in its top, then it kind of let Bitcoin know that it could make its run, right? While gold consolidated and chopped around sideways. And so now, early January 2025, gold resumed to the upside, right? And so kind of what I'm looking for here is a similar kind of curling up of the Bitcoin price and for gold to kind of put in more or less a local top, right? I'm expecting either around this gray line, which is that bigger channel, or this blue top of the blue line, which is a medium term channel, so to speak. So we can go on the candle chart here. We're looking for gold to kind of put in a little top and Bitcoin to start making its way to the upside. So that's just something I'm kind of looking at right now. What we can also do is measure Bitcoin and denominate it in gold. So if we zoom out to the monthly, here's Bitcoin denominated in gold. So Bitcoin measured in the price of gold, comparing the two assets together. We'll actually go into the 2-week time frame here. So, ever since Bitcoin got started, back in 2010, 2011, based out and started outperforming gold. And then again, looks like I gotta move this down a little bit. Big base, big consolidation, then outperformed gold. Here we have a big base, big consolidation, and then a slight outperformance of gold, right? So that brings us to current day. We have a big base, a big consolidation, and then we're kind of into this falling wedge at the top of the range. And so what I'm kind of curious about, and I'm sure you all are too, is like, do we have another kind of leg up, kind of like this one? And this might be a little bit of aggressive, but this is just kind of pulling from this previous fractal back here in 2015, 16, 17, 18. And so I'm not so sure, maybe it is, maybe it doesn't, but that's an interesting thought exercise, is to kind of see how Bitcoin's performed against gold in the past and then extrapolating that out into the future. It looks like if we go into the weekly, we're still in the early innings here of Bitcoin breaking out against gold and now, kind of consolidating in this, falling wedge type of formation. There was a big bull flag back here. This looks like more of a falling wedge. We'll see if it plays out or not, but I think that's just kind of something to keep our eye on. And so if this breaks out and continues its run up against gold, it's a good thing for Bitcoin, I think. If we see this start breaking down, we may have a different situation on our hands. But I don't think it really hasn't gave us that signal yet. I would say if we break this blue trend line, then maybe we can have that conversation. So again, Bitcoin measured in gold, I think it's a pretty interesting ratio. And so then we can look at MicroStrategy. We'll zoom into the 4-hour on MicroStrategy. We're kind of just consolidating, continuing to consolidate in this, symmetrical triangle, whatever you want to call it. Could also be a bull flag formation. But, we've become less volatile. And so, I don't know, I think once gold tops out, gives us a local top, that'll give Bitcoin a chance to really put its foot on the gas. And then I think MicroStrategy will start to see those tailwinds. MicroStrategy could also be leading the way. When we look at MicroStrategy, or strategy rather, that's going to take me a while. Strategy measured in Bitcoin. We can zoom into the 2-hour here. You guys know this is a big ratio I like to keep track of. I think once this starts to go to the upside, that's when we know the sideways or downwards action of MicroStrategy is over. So we kind of have a little bit of a falling wedge here at the bottom of this consolidation. We want to see this go up to the upside. We want to kind of just see it make its way out of this pattern, so to speak. So then once I start looking at this, I'm like, okay, who's leading who? Is gold leading Bitcoin? Is MicroStrategy leading Bitcoin? Who's the truth teller? But I think, if MicroStrategy can start to outperform Bitcoin, I think, MicroStrategy is just holding the hardest asset and keeps acquiring the hardest asset, right? And so I think that gives extreme power to the MicroStrategy chart. It also gives it a lot of power in the MicroStrategy denominated in Bitcoin chart, because I think it's going to outperform Bitcoin, but I think it is going to take some time. So that's all I got for today, guys. Drop me a like if you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.